Ben, congratulations on the film. You've made, I think, the only film in history in which a BAFTA is used as a lethal weapon. How exactly did you get the rights to do that?
We wrote to them and asked them if it'd be all right, and then we said we would use it in a respectful way. And I think we achieved that. It was Peter Ferdinando improvised the line BAFTA him, I think. Or it might have been James Purefoy, I can't remember, one of the two.
BAFTA are now totally aware it's been used to pummel someone in the face.
Oh, they are now, aren't they?
They're all here.
Yeah.
So how did this film come about for you? Obviously you have made your own films, original material for your first 4 films, and then this is your first adaptation. How did this happen?
It was... the feedback. Do you like that?
Should I stand away? I'll stand away. It's because we all stand in line.
It was a moment I was just in my front room and I just looking at the bookcase and I saw it. I thought, why hasn't it been made?
Did a shaft of light appear in the book?
It was a bit like that, yeah. I just looked up and went, oh, High Rise, I love High Rise. Where's the film of High Rise? And I can look at a lot of the books on the bookshelf and not think that, and go, there's loads of these have all been made. So it was just a very quick, I emailed my agent and then he said, Jeremy Thomas has got it. And then within 3 days I was looking at the typewriter from Naked Lunch in Jeremy Thomas's office, which is quite insane, yeah.
So why High Rise in particular?
Oh, it's a book I'd read as a kid and I loved, and when I went back to it, it seemed like it had been. Wow, I like that. It's a book that it seems like it was written yesterday, or plucked from the pages of the newspaper. So absolutely, I felt that's why it had to be done, made.
And Tom, you were on Ben's fridge for a while. Not you, literally, but your picture when Ben and Amy were casting the film. What was it about this role that attracted you? Lang is a quite passive, inward-looking fellow. How did that character appeal to you?
I found his tension very fascinating. And it's interesting just in the context of the rest of Ballard's work. Ballard himself had studied medicine at Cambridge for 3 years before leaving to then become a writer. And it's interesting, there's a lot of doctors in his work, and here was this doctor, someone who's professionally detached, who's challenged to engage with what's happening. And I just found that character really compelling. And I also am a huge admirer of Ben. And wanted to do it with him.
Really standing close to you, aren't I?
I would say that. I found the combination of Ben, what I understood as Ben's sensibility as a filmmaker, and Ballard, a really amazing cocktail, and just wanted to be part of it. And we met and talked about it, and then I went to watch an autopsy.
Oh, right, okay. Why?
Yeah, sorry, I just throw that in there.
Was it normal Wednesday for you? Was that basically?
Yeah. Well, firstly, it was very important to me to represent the dissection of the severed head in a real way, and wanted to do that truthfully, as doctors do. But also, I understood something of the. I think it's a very. If you'll forgive me for saying it, Ben, but I think it's a very Ballardian moment. I think, I read his autobiography called Miracles of Life, and there's an amazing bit where he's a child and he's taken through Shanghai, which has been bombed, and parts of it are deserted, parts of it which were once populous and glamorous and sort of exciting were sort of shells of their former life. And he talks about reality as a stage set which can be dismantled at any time. Mm-hmm. And in a way, there's something of Ballard's excavation of the human condition like that. He's saying, who are we behind the mask of our manners, the mask of our civilization? And so I had this very disturbing afternoon with a forensic pathologist watching a body be cut open. And I found his detachment fascinating. Yeah. He was one of the top pathologists in the country, someone whose job it is to determine the cause of death. And he was the way he talked about personality and about mental disorder, the sort of mental health, the symptoms of mental dysfunction, and how that registers in the human body, just related in a fascinating way to what I think Ballard was digging around at in this material.
He offered me to go and see an autopsy, and I said no. Because once seen is never unseen. Sorry.
In case you do a Quincy and just fall over. Sienna, did you attend an autopsy? What research did you do for this?
No one wants to follow Tom Hiddleston in a Q&A. I just hate to put it out there. Already. You've peaked, all right? No, I didn't go to any autopsies. Although I would have been up for it. Thank you and good night.
If anyone's doing an autopsy afterwards, just contact Sienna. So what research did you do to get into the mindset of Charlotte for this?
I read the book,
That's not like going to an autopsy. That's a lot easier than going to an autopsy.
Yes. Well, no, I had kind of extensive conversations with these two and Jeremy Thomas, who is really the most exciting producer in England. I mean, it's extraordinary the work that he gets behind and the films that he gets made, because this probably should have been made a while ago and hasn't been, because no one's really brave enough to tackle something this weird and enormous and important. So it's a shout out for JT. But other than that, yes. I thought about what it would be like to be a really detached, selfish, mercurial woman, and I jumped right in. I'm really kidding. I'm hoping because it's England that you'll get it.
You wouldn't pull that in Toronto, would you?
You wouldn't pull that in America, no. Would you, Lizzie? No, not at all.
And Elizabeth, what about you? I mean, was Ben the way in for you for this movie?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of his, and was a fan of his before reading the script, and then afterwards, obviously, was an even greater fan. And I just really wanted to be in a Ben Wheatley movie, and I sort of thought, being the only American, that there was no way I was going to be in it. And then they, for some reason, gave it to me, which I was ecstatic about. I was so excited when I got the part, and had the pleasure of working with all these incredible actors, and Ben far exceeded my expectations on set, and it was a really, as crazy and chaotic and dark as the film is, we had so much fun making it. I know that sounds really sick, but we did. It was so fun, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. It was a familial atmosphere. It felt like we were doing something naughty over in Ireland, that it was great, and I just had a great experience,
Don't give it all away, Jesus.
Absolutely. How did the locals in Bangor, Northern Ireland, take to you? He said, his accent getting thicker as he said that. Were they aware that something naughty was going on?
They were intrigued. We would arrive in the morning. Because of the way we shot it, we would arrive at 8 o'clock in the morning and emerge at 6 o'clock at night. And we shot it in Bangor Leisure Centre. And they would turn up and wave, and we would, through the course of the day, we'd all emerge. Yeah, in its sort of progressive states of disarray.
As well, wasn't it, with them all? Yeah. It was a bit weird, yeah.
We were like people asking questions about why there was so much paint on me, and then we would go down to the seaside for a Scotch egg. Honestly, that's what we did. Go to the Salty Dog, best Scotch eggs in the land.
So good.
And then just check out a local autopsy as well. We have some questions that people have been sending in via Twitter, via the hashtag LFFquestions. Here's one from @LittleMissia, probably not her real name. Off to London to see High Rise. Can you confirm no dogs were eaten or hurt in the making of this film?
There's a strict rule about like not murdering stuff when you make a film. Also, no one smoked any real cigarettes, no drinking happened, no one died. All the actors that died in the film are still alive. So we didn't kill any dogs.
Okay.
It's quite an expensive puppet. Actually, that was one of the vagaries of the budget. It was that it wouldn't stretch to a full Afghan. So the scene when they cover it with a blanket, I'd love to say it was an artistic decision, but there just wasn't the rest of the dog there. That's Hollywood.
Okay, here's one for the actors from @JColkhorst. Did making High Rise have a lasting effect on his actors? Was it difficult not to lose yourselves in the madness?
Tom.
It felt so It felt
went
like I said,
mad.
we didn't go mad. It felt like, honestly, it felt like we were given a box of fireworks and told not to get into too much trouble. It was, because we were doing a sort of 9-to-5 job. I mean, it's the strangest 9-to-5 job I think anyone's ever seen. But no, it didn't have a lasting effect. Although we shot the supermarket fight on my last day, and it took about a week for the bruises to go down. It was a pretty intense day, that one.
And Sienna and Elizabeth, did you survive without succumbing to madness?
Yeah, I think so.
When you're already there, it's hard to come back from, I think. I feel like I'm in a stand-up, like an awful stand-up. I don't know why, it's such a strange thing. No, it wasn't. It was actually kind of strangely wholesome, and like Tom said, I know that's weird, damaged human. It was really cozy and familial. We all lived in this mad hotel all together, and we were a pack. We kind of were all on set every day in funny caravans in a car park, covered in blood and bruises and paint, and running around like kids. It was really special.
Yeah,
but
and
we
then
all
we'd go
survived.
to dinner a lot, We could
Have scotch eggs.
Yeah, and have
Every
Scotch
night.
eggs. And we all stayed in the same place, and you'd run into people in the lobby or at the gym, and
the bar.
it was like a camp. It was very nice.
Okay. Here's one from @LadyFernie, who says, how do you think you'd all survive, and you're in this one too, Ben, you'd all survive in a high-rise building in real life?
In real life, I don't think it would turn out like that. I'd probably spend a lot of time moaning about the lift not working. And enjoying the view.
Oh, that's nice. So Ben survives. Tom?
Yeah, my general experience of being in tall buildings has been better than this one. And I don't try to paint the walls. I think if I moved in here, around the first morning, I'd think about moving out. I think it would be a wise move.
Okay. Sienna, would you survive? How would you cope? Of course you would.
I would survive. I mean, I don't know. No, I mean, it's,
No one knows.
it's a film.
It's none of it's
I don't
real,
know.
is it? It's not
No,
real.
I don't. Yeah, I think
It's not a multiple choice. Don't worry. It's fine.
I don't. Would I survive in that scenario? Or?
Yeah.
No. No one would. No one did.
Yeah, me neither. I would have moved out and stayed in a hotel after one night. Like, this is not for me.
It'd been a very
England
different
sucks.
film, wouldn't it? Can you imagine?
I'm out of here.
Everyone just moves into
Yeah,
hotel.
this is rubbish. We're moving out.
I'm going back to New York.
And the last question is from @LokiArty.
Where's
for
this
me.
going?
Don't worry, it's all good. What prompted you to pick Northern Ireland as the location to film? And what was the attraction of the Bangor Leisure Centre?
Well, we were looking for a genuine 1970s building that had brutalist architecture and hadn't been either remodelled or knocked down. And like most up and down England, they'd been basically pulled down, or they'd been clad in marble, which seemed weird, but also, or they're really active kind of buildings that it would be impossible to shoot in. So in the end, we went to, after an exhaustive search, this is fascinating, this story, isn't it, about how I found Bangor Leisure Centre. And then we went there, and the leisure centre was interesting because it had been closed down, but it was next to a police station, and it had never been refurbished since the 70s, and had never been vandalised. If it had been in London, it would have been just been after about 10 minutes, it was smashed to pieces. But because it was there next to a police station, it was exactly how it was. And so we went in there and went, oh my God, this is it. This is perfect. And it was very important that it was a space that was a real 70s space that then we built inside of, rather than we left completely up to our imagination. So the 70s was there in some way. So some of the corridors are there and some of bits and bobs are there. The swimming pool's obviously real, and the squash courts and all that stuff. Yeah. But the flats were then built inside, like the five-a-side football area.
Fantastic. And
There you go.
Tom,
That's blown the whole film for you, isn't it?
it really has. Tom, I know you're not a performing monkey, but backstage you were doing a very good Northern Irish accent.
Oh, Jesus.
And I just wondered if you'd treat the folks as a parting shot.
I don't know. I'm some kind of strange parrot of a human being. And I found that we all had this amazing, I should just give a shout out to our Northern Irish crew, who were incredible. They really were.
Yeah, very brilliant, yeah.
Or a shout out.
And I would turn up and every time I say, you all right there? Good morning. How are you? I liked it. So simple. So nice out there. Anyway, I love the Northern Irish accents today.
It's a lovely impression, so it is. And on that bombshell, it's a good note to wish to end. Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Ben Wheatley, Tom
Thank you.
Hiddleston, Sienna Miller, and Elizabeth Moss.
Thank you.